Okay, so my constraint becomes my need to search. I am a number 13 ranked mutual fund in the country, and if I were to sort of use the traditional medium or the conventional medium, I will get outsold against the larger players who are there in the market because it becomes very prohibitive. Therefore, when I want to look at specific audiences, and particularly the T30, as they say, the B30, as they say in mutual fund, which is audiences who are in non-metro kind of locations, then a podcast works extremely well. Other thing which gives us tailwind is the brand itself. So Tata as a brand is known, across the country and the globe. So when you hear something which is coming from a Tata stable, people like to sort of connect with it. They feel that it is more authentic and they would want to believe it. Of course, they will go and do their due diligence, but it gives us a natural, front foot to sort of look for audiences where we can sort of go and build and grow the market in this case. So, Nishant, the point is that the way we look at the medium, I think it gives me a great opportunity to tell my story. And my story is going to be a little longer than a television ad or a little longer than a GIF banner that you will go out and see. So I don't want to interrupt your user experience when you're listening to something by using this medium to put up an ad, but I definitely want to create my story and attract listeners to that particular story. So, for example, there is this great story happening in our company about the China Plus One strategy, and easily it can become a 10-episode kind of a thing because various industries will probably want to look for other alternatives than China to set shop, and then it gives rise to an entirely new set of content saying that how are states ready to provide this kind of an infrastructure? Are we ready to provide manpower? Are we ready to provide tech solutions? Are we ready to sort of cut on licenses? So you just see how the whole content is ballooning. Now, when I have so much of rich content to speak about, I would rather put up content which is originally created by me and go out and market it. And I'm lucky to be in a space where it's a knowledge kind of a business. Mutual fund industry is a knowledge business. Therefore, people want to listen to us. So that's the opportunity which it gives me. But yeah, maybe somebody else who's in a different kind of an industry would like to increase reach and therefore be present in content, which has got its own attractiveness. See, the opportunity for us in India, and which is a fantastic one, is that we are almost 29 different countries. There are so many people, so many speaking so much of different dialects, and our kind of a product is something which everybody wants, particularly now that we have gone through this entire pandemic. And I know it sounds cliched, but people are very anxious of their future. They're worried about whether they're saving right, and a lot of the discretionary spends have come down. So they're looking at avenues to go out and invest, and that is a fabulous opportunity for us to go out and create content which is not only English but English plus 20, about 8, 9, 10 languages for sure. As I told you earlier during our conversation, that we have espoused the journey of voice, video, and vernacular. We do a lot of it in terms of the video bit. In case of voice, we have added Hindi, but yeah, definitely we will look at opportunities in other markets. Particularly if you go down south, people are very, very keen to listen about financial markets in their local dialects, which is Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, and Telugu. Bengali, again, is something that, and I think somewhere regional language also builds an element of trust, which is very critical for a financial services product. So there is a huge opportunity for it to explode, and I think if there are more marketeers who come on board, it will only become richer from a recipient's perspective.
Got it.
So, Nishant, for me, I think organic is working well, and I'll tell you why. It's not just about the content; it's also about the way it gets distributed. If you look at, and I think particularly if you stay on the business that I am in, the mutual fund space, the content which I create organically gets distributed across my channel partners, which is banks, which is the independent financial advisors, as they are called as IFAs, which is the national level distributors. They in turn take it to investors, so it's a B2B2C kind of a model. Our own portfolio of customers, so it becomes a B2C kind of a model. It can also be, audiences who are not a part of our portfolio, but we are attracting them through these kind of shows. So it gives me a great opportunity to take very, very rich content and pass it on to channels which are already organically embedded with us. I mean, at this point in time, if you ask me, would you want to go out and, brand some content that somebody else is doing? I'm not too sure about it, because again, it boils down to the business that I am in. But perhaps if I was a hand sanitizer brand, I would have perhaps gone out and done it with somebody who's got a great show on cooking or something of that sort. But in this case particularly, I want to sort of stay straight on the wicket and in fact curate more and more content. We have just launched our second Ishbir is Me season 2 is live now, and we have launched one more podcast, Mind Over Markets, which is a Q&A kind of a thing between me and our CIO. Sorry, our CIO and me. I'm just being grammatically correct. Our CIO and me. And it has already had quite a few audience. And what is happening is that all of these gives us opportunity to keep adding and speaking about stuff that we would have missed in an interaction. So, for example, we have almost every day we have conversations which are happening with the channel partners. Now, there are a host of questions which come in those kind of interactions, a webinar or a Zoom call. All of it can become content again for another podcast which we can go out and launch, because this is the pulse of the market. 80% of the business is done by these channel partners across the country, and when they are asking you a question, they are representing the hopes, the aspirations, the fears of millions of people in this country. So you just see how everything is sort of telescoping into each other.